new Israeli company, Brandmark, is giving you every minor detail about where your food is sourced and so much other good stuff that you didn't even know you wanted to know. To tell us more about it, I'm joined by Gilad Waxman, Chief Marketing Officer at Brandmark. Gilad, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, tell us exactly about how this process works. If a customer comes and picks up an item that Brandmark works with, how exactly are they going to find out this information?
The process starts higher up on the supply chain. When we join forces with a company that wants to work and be transparent to their consumers, we are linking to their supply chain from the very beginning. From the farmer, from the raw materials, and then at every stage of the supply chain, we're looking at coffee here, for an example. At every stage of the supply chain, there's a different kind of process, different kind of the way that things are being held through the supply chain, being taken care of. We are putting all of this data live to the blockchain, and all this information is basically being eventually transparent and being presented to the end consumer or to every part of the stakeholders of the supply chain, and cannot be changed. I mean, there is no way for any part of the stakeholders throughout the supply chain to tell you that this fish was taken out of the sea 2 days ago when it was taken out of the sea 2 weeks ago, for an example.
But what kind of checks and balances are put in place to make sure that this information isn't false?
Up until today, what you would have gotten from companies is the report. The company used to do things throughout the supply chain, and in every supply chain there are consequences, there is information, and the companies, they have this information. The thing is the way it's being presented. Up until today, companies used to bring you a report. Let's say a date of expiration date is a kind of a report to the consumer. It's actually telling the consumer, we know what happened to the product as a company, and we are telling you that this is the right expiration date for this product. The way that things are being controlled in the new era of transparency is that the information is being pushed on live, basically, on real time. It's being pushed directly to the blockchain. Now, what's good about the blockchain, other than a centralized database like a centralized server of a certain company, is that the blockchain is a kind of an open source, very reliable database that cannot be changed. So let's say this information is the fish is getting out of the water right now, and this information is being pushed right now to the blockchain. And then at the next stage, it's being pushed at the next stage where the fish is being, let's say, put in the ice. This information is basically going up live to the blockchain, and then no one can change it. So the consumer can be sure that the information is not a report by the company, but it's a real transparent flow of the product.
Now, Gilad, you can't see what's on our screen at the moment, but we were showing visuals just for our audience of, so you get your phone and you scan a QR code, that's right? And this information pops up on the screen. So who is this actually benefiting? Obviously, this benefits the consumer, but who's the real winner in this?
That's a very interesting question, actually, because this is actually touching our beliefs as Brandmark. We believe that we are in a new era of communication between manufacturers to consumers, where the transparency is a basic part of the new trust between the consumers to the manufacturers. So basically, I believe that it's not only the consumer that is getting to be benefit out of this new communication channel, but it's also the manufacturers that are able to compete and say, we are better, look at our processes, look at our manufacturers. And I think that everybody, manufacturers and the consumers and all the supply chain, if you would think about it, if I'm rather a store or a distributor, I want to know that the product that I'm buying from the earlier stage of the supply chain is good to be sold to the next stage. So I believe that the consumers are going to be very happy about the fact that they can know what they're consuming, what they are eating, or whether it's a baby food, what they are giving to their babies to eat. But it's also the company that is buying from the manufacturer, and it's also the manufacturer that is buying the raw materials from his vendors, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's a very important stage in all of the industries around there to be able to say, okay, we are not just saying that we are doing things right, we are actually transparent, and we are showing things to the next stage of the supply chain and, of course, the consumer.
Well, I think it is an absolutely amazing service that you have got going on here, Gilad. So good luck, and I hope it all works out. Gilad Waxman, Chief Marketing Officer at Brandmark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.